mean, I'm taking this Madden franchise very personal now. I lost to a trash dude, man, 42-7. I've never lost to anybody like that. The dude that I lost to 42-7 was blatantly just trash. I didn't have no wide receivers, man. Didn't have no wide receivers. So, you know, I just couldn't get open. But this team that I have right here is going to do some damage. That 42-7, I took that real personal. You know why? Because people was talking crazy to me. Talking crazy. Because they know I am the gods amongst gods. They know I bring the thunder. They know I bring the pain. They know I bring the war. So when I didn't accomplish that goal, everybody was J. That is a feeling I never want to feel again. That is a feeling I will never feel again. So I made sure this season, I'm coming for a reason. You know what I mean? I took that person. I got beat 42-7. That never happened to me. And I got beat 42-7 to a trash nigga. A trash nigga that didn't even win the Super Bowl. At least I'm going to lose to a nigga. Let a nigga go to the Super Bowl. Lost to a nigga that ain't go to the Super Bowl. Lost to a nigga that was trash too. That was just crazy. All dudes do is do man covers because I ain't got no wide receivers, but it's very different with this team right here. So I'm gonna show people I'm gonna show people how it gets down, and it's gonna be very personal. But what's good, YouTube, man? It's your boy Jay Willis Silly, man, aka Mr. Take It Easy. Forget all life easy, but make sure y'all follow my Instagram and Twitch. Like I said, y'all, we are in the second seat. We is in the second season. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a very, very good season. You know what I'm saying? It's in the second season, man. You know what I mean? First season went by in a blink of an eye. Try to tell y'all, bro, it's not gonna last that. It's gonna last long, but not like long. You know what I'm saying? So we're doing 3 seasons, like I said. So we in the second season, already week 2. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all do want to join the Madden 25 League, y'all can still do it. You know what I mean? We already did the draft with Travis Hunter, with you know, Jalen Milroe, Quinn Ewers, you know, Carson Beck and whatnot. So we already did the draft tonight. So yeah, man, you feel me? If y'all want to join the Madden 25 franchise, y'all can still do that. Discord link is in the description down below. The mandatory times is 10 o'clock p.m. to 1 a.m. If y'all want to do overtime, which a lot of people prefer, you can do that. You know what I mean? When I mean by overtime, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? You know, I know a lot of y'all got school, I know a lot of y'all got work, but even tonight, you know what I'm saying? People was up until like dang near 4 o'clock a.m. You know what I'm saying? Getting it done. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, like I said, if y'all want to go follow my Twitch as well, link is in the description down below. That's where I will be live streaming gaming. You feel me? But anyways, enough talking about that. We have 3 creepy, true Cornfield horror stories, man, for all my new subscribers. If y'all want to go see all my true scary reactions, it's in the playlist section. Over yonder, thumbnail time. My nigga, come on, my nigga. Like, I ain't get time for thumbnail. Come on, dog. I want to know why people is in the cornfields for. What's the reason to be in the cornfield?
Happened when I was a kid, so some of the details are a little fuzzy, but I still remember the important parts. I grew up in Nebraska, and I used to bike to school every day because my parents were always working. It was just easier that way. We lived in a rural area surrounded by farmland, and the route to school took me past this massive cornfield.
Y'all is 6'12" too. Don't expect no. I told you I was busy with the franchise, bro, so that's why I really ain't push out vids, but I'm like, before I hit the bed, you know what I'm saying, I'll drop y'all a vid or something, you know what I'm saying? Cause I really finna be like, man, forget y'all, I'm finna go straight to bed. But I'm like, hey, man, you know, I'll drop one video for y'all, you know what I'm saying? What the hey? You know what I mean?
Looking back, it probably wasn't that big, but it was the kind of place that looked like it went on forever, especially when you're a kid. Our house was on the other side of the field, but my parents were always clear about one thing: don't cut through the cornfield. They were worried I'd get lost without a cell phone, and I didn't really question it. I'd seen how easy it was to lose your sense of direction in there. So every day, I'd stay on the main road and bike all the way around it. I didn't have many friends that lived near my house, so I'd always bike alone. I didn't mind the longer rides. I actually developed a love for biking from doing it so often. I'd go for bike rides on the weekends, even when I didn't have to. I don't remember what day of the week it was, but it was definitely a weekday because
I ain't ride a bike in so long, though. I'm not gonna cap. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't ride a bike in so long. I ain't ride a bike ever since I was like, man, 13. I ain't gonna lie. I was so happy when I learned how to ride a bike, bro. I remember when I learned how to ride a bike. I was in Alabama. I was at Westgate, bro. Westgate was like a little gym everybody used to go to. But, you know, they had this little big old freaking yard and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, some, you know, training wheels, you know. Bro, I used to feel so left out because everybody on the block knew how to ride bikes except for me. All my partners, you had Scooter, you had Little Man, Big Man, you had all the guys who knew how to ride the bikes. You feel me? They going out just riding bikes. They going out to the next neighborhood. Just riding bikes, bro. For me, I couldn't ride no bike, you feel me? So I felt left out. So I was like, man, this is mandatory. So I ain't gonna lie, bro. I stayed there dang near all day. My pops taught me how to ride a bike on the training wheel. And, you know, we had to take the training wheels off. And, you know what I mean? I learned how to ride a bike, bro. And then, you know, I can hang out with the guys. You feel? I was so happy when I learned how to ride a bike, bro. Because, bro, I just don't understand that feeling of being left out, bro. You feel me? Like, everybody know how to ride a bike, but you on the block. You feel me? That make you feel left out. I ain't gonna lie to you. So I'm like, nigga, I gotta learn how to ride this bike. When I learned how to ride that bike, I was the happiest man in the world. On God, it was easy, man. I couldn't believe I didn't know how to ride a bike.
I was biking home from school. I was biking home like normal when the chain on my bike popped loose.
Oh, this old.
I don't remember how it happened, but it just came off completely. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't figure out how to pop it back into place.
It's old.
My dad had taught me how to fix my bike, but nothing I tried worked. I was stuck, and the thought of walking all the way home with my bike in tow sounded awful. Like I said, I didn't have a phone back then, so it wasn't like I could just call my parents for help. I wasn't going to ask for a ride from a random stranger driving by either. I knew better. I was on my own. That's when I looked over at the cornfield. Walking the normal route home was going to take forever, but cutting through the cornfield would save me a ton of time. I knew my parents had warned me not to go in there, but I figured it couldn't be that hard to find my way through. After all, I just needed to walk straight, right? So I made up my mind and pushed my bike into the cornfield, telling myself it'd be a quick shortcut. At first, it was fine. The path I found between the rows of corn was narrow, but it was clear enough to walk through. The stalks towered over me, and I remember there being a gentle breeze that day. Imagine walking through a cornfield as a child. The stalks feel 10 times higher, and everything feels 10 times bigger. It started to make me feel a little uneasy. The corn also blocked out a lot of the light, and it was oddly silent in there. I can't remember why, but every so often I'd look behind me. I'm not sure what was scaring me, but I remember just wanting to get out of there as quickly as possible.
Man, no cap though. You feel like somebody watching you, right? You just feel like it's a feeling, like it's just like, bro, there's something going on. It's something ain't right, bro. You feel me? That's how you feeling like, bro. It's something ain't right. That's why I keep looking behind me and it's something ain't right, gang. You feel me? I gotta get out of it. It's something just bothering me. I feel like some eyes on me. You feel me? Am I the only one that be feeling like that? I told you, I be feeling like, bro, eyes be on me. That's why I just be looking. I just be like, I be feeling like somebody be looking at me all the time. I be looking all type of, I be like looking through the woods. When I go out to my balcony, bro, I be thinking somebody be watching me through the woods. I just be looking through the woods like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just be feeling like eyes be on me, G. You feel me? Oh, God.
After another few minutes, I started to pick up on a faint rustling sound coming from the corn just a little ways off the path.
Nigga, inside the corn.
I stopped and listened, trying to convince myself it was just the wind. It didn't sound like the wind, though. It stopped, but as soon as I started walking, I heard it again.
Nigga watching you,
This time, it was a little louder and a little closer. I started to think it could have been an animal stalking me, but I didn't know what kind of animal would be making that much noise. I remember struggling to breathe, wishing I had never gotten into that cornfield at all. I picked up the pace, walking faster, but I didn't want to leave my bike behind.
Let's forget that bike!
I kept telling myself I was being paranoid, but every few minutes, the rustling came back. Like whatever it was keeping pace with me. Eventually, the rustling stopped, and I felt a wave of relief. Maybe 10 or so minutes passed without any strange sounds. At the next juncture, I decided to switch rows just to be safe.
Halloween tomorrow.
I turned a corner, and standing right there in the middle of the path was a man. He was just standing there, arms at his sides, staring at me. He didn't look like a farmer or anyone who belonged out there. His clothes were dirty and torn, and he had what looked like long scratches on both arms. I don't know how else to describe them. They were just long marks that looked etched into his arm. I froze, not knowing what to do. But then he spoke. He asked me if I was lost in a low and raspy voice. I didn't respond. I was glued to the spot. He then took a step toward me and told me he'd help me find my way home.
Bro, get out my face.
I felt like I was in sleep paralysis. I literally couldn't move. Every instinct in me screamed to run.
Nigga told me he could not move. That nigga froze to death. He is froze to death. How you get froze? Like, bro, you think, come on, gang. I told you, first of all, with Jay got 40s, Jay got Glocks and K's. You feel me? So I ain't worried about that. You feel me? Like, I'm looking at, bro, you know, I'm cooling. I told y'all, it's just a different type of confidence you have when you got a pipe on you. Nigga, you step close to me, I'm gonna kill you. You will die. You know what I'm saying? It's a different type of confidence. So for me, I ain't tripping. I ain't finna run from you. Please try me. We in the middle of a cornfield, nigga. I'm finna drop this nigga. Oh, God. I'm finna drop you, nigga. I want a free body. Free body. This easy. Free body. Because like I told you, I ain't a killer, but don't push me. You know what I'm saying? Real rap. I am not a killer, but don't push me. I will kill you, bro, if you're trying to kill me, bro. If you're trying to harm me, I promise you I will kill you. You can think I'm just talking, but I promise you, bro. I will murk you, nigga. You feel me? Straight up. I ain't gonna feel guilty about it or nothing. If God gonna judge me, let God judge me then. Well, if you think I'm finna let you take my life? You think I'm finna let you, bro? Another man put me in the ground? Another man kidnap me? Bro, you finna get shot playing around with a nigga like me. You feel me? But this is a kid, though. You feel me? I'm never gonna let my kid ride no bike to school. You throw out on that yellow bus like I did when I was a child. You feel me? I ain't finna let my kid walk home from school. None of that. Finna do what I did, nigga, in a normal way. World too evil to let kids ride a bike.
He started walking faster, his hands outstretched toward me.
Nigga,
My
run!
legs just took over. I dropped my bike and ran as fast as I could. He started chasing me and shouted that he just wanted to help me. I did not stop running. I could hear him crashing through the corn behind me, yelling for me to stop every so often. I ducked into one of the corn stalks and crouched down in a ball with my eyes closed. I tried to make myself as small as possible. I truthfully thought I was gonna die. He was holding something that looked like a rope in his hand. As he passed, he muttered to himself, "I'll find him." I'll never forget those words for as long as I live. I stayed hidden for what felt like hours. My legs were cramping and my whole body was trembling, but I didn't dare move until I was sure he was gone. When I finally crawled out of the corn and made my way home, I was shaking so badly I could barely walk. It was dark by then. I eventually found my way home. I ran inside to my parents, who were worried sick about where I had been. I told them everything. My mom was in tears, and my dad looked like he was ready to kill someone. By then, though, there wasn't much they could do.
Why would you let your kid? Why would you let your kid like ride bike? Why y'all let y'all kids do that? Mike, bro, you ever heard of Amber Alert? Like, gang, this world is too dangerous. It ain't about you being strict, bro. I'm not finna let my kid, my little kid, ride a bike to school. Especially if it's my daughter. You know we not doing that at all. That's why I say for me, that's why I say when I get kids, that's why I say, y'all, I'm gonna be rich. I'm gonna be rich, bro. I ain't gotta worry about, oh yeah, going to work. You know what I'm saying? I'm here. I wanna be here. I don't wanna be clocking in, going to work for nobody. I ain't trying to be nothing. I'm trying to be here, bro. You feel me? I can take my kids to school. I can pick my kids up from school. I don't have to find a babysitter. You know why? Because I'm here. You feel me? That's why I say, man, I'm trying to get rich, nigga. You feel me? Straight up. I don't trust nobody. I don't trust having no babysitter. I don't trust taking my kids to no daycare. I don't trust none of that. You feel me? I wish somebody would pop my kid in that daycare. Daycare finna get shut down. Ain't nobody gonna put their hands on my kid except for me. Simple. All that love you putting your hands on my kid at daycare, man, it's gonna be some problems, G. I'm scared to have children. I just know I'm just too overprotective, bro. I'm not finna be a strict parent, bro. But best believe my child ain't finna just do whatever the heck he thinks you want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's what it means. Finna just have all the freedom in the world now. You gonna hear some no's. You feel me? I gotta protect you from this evil world, G. You don't know who the heck I am.
I went out to look for my bike, but it was nowhere to be found.
Man, that bike gone.
They got me a new one a few days later, and life went on. A few weeks later, something else happened that ultimately made us move out.
Oh, this nigga
I got home from school one day, and there, sitting on the porch, was my old bike. The one I had left in the cornfield. I don't remember who was more freaked out, me or my parents. My parents didn't feel safe with me in that house anymore, so we quickly moved out of there. My parents don't really mention what happens, but I don't think I'll ever be able to forget it.
This nigga followed you home, bro? So he followed you home. He followed this man home. You didn't know it.
I was 28.
That man was probably waiting for you to get out, like get out the freaking, you know what I'm saying? Like, man was probably waiting, just looking at you the whole time, just creeping up behind you, just like that. Doing that just like that. Oh, this where you live at? Alright.
I'm trying to chase my dreams of being an author.
He knew you was still out there, bro. He ain't really go nowhere for real. He was trying to make you think he went somewhere. Whole time that nigga still watching you.
For a popular newspaper, but things didn't work out. I had just returned home to help my aging parents on the family farm. It wasn't exactly what I'd planned for myself after leaving home years ago, but they were getting older, and managing the place on their own was becoming more of a burden. The farm was quiet and isolated, surrounded by vast fields of corn that stretched out for miles in every direction. The nearest neighbor lived about a 10-minute walk away, a small farm run by an older woman who'd been living there ever since her husband passed away a few years back. Life was slow out there, and I didn't mind that. At that point in my life, slow was exactly what I wanted. Things were pretty normal for a week or two. I was starting to get used to the routine of managing the farm, and the slower pace of life was really beneficial to me. I had a ton of free time on my hands to think and write, which was how I spent most nights. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm most productive and creative at night, so I took advantage of that. I'd get the farm stuff out of the way well before the sun went down, and then sit at my computer until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. I had opted to stay in the tiny bedroom on the 3rd floor so that I wouldn't bother my parents with the strange sleep habits. I liked it up there. It was cozy and quiet, and the window gave me a beautiful, muse-like view of the farm. But after about another week, I started noticing something odd. Every evening, just before sunset, I would see a figure standing at the far edge of my parents' cornfield, between 2 rows of corn. At first, I didn't think much of it. I assumed it was someone from the neighbor's farm, maybe checking on their land or surveying the crops. They weren't actually on my parents' property, so it's not like they were trespassing or doing anything technically illegal. It was just kind of odd, though. The figure didn't move or make any kind of gesture, just stood there, almost like a scarecrow or a mannequin. I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. Hell, I couldn't even tell if they were facing me.
I'm saying, I'm looking for far distance. The heck is that? What the hell is that? Hey, Mom. What the hell? You know what I'm saying? I ain't finna go in there searching and trying to figure out what it is. One thing about Jay, I'm looking from a distance. Stay out there as long as you need. Stay out there as long as you need. You gonna stay out there forever and ever. I ain't finna go back out there. That's the last day I'm working in that cornfield. That's the last day. You feel me? Because one thing about me, my mind goes straight to the worst. My mind goes straight to the worst. You feel me? Straight to the worst. When I see something weird like that, I automatically start thinking bad. I don't be trying to be like these. I'm nothing like these dudes. Oh man, maybe it's just a neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Looking at the cornfield, just surveying the area. I'm nothing like that. My mind go to this is a murderer. This is a serial killer. Oh my God, this is a demon. You feel me? That's how I think. I feel one red flag, but I'm going off that red flag, gang. I told y'all, I just gotta be tripping. That's just me. I'm not finna just try to make it seem like I'm tripping and all that. I'm just gonna be tripping then. Sure. I don't feel a certain way about a nigga. I feel the wrong way about a nigga. Get what? I guess I'm gonna be tripping then, cause guess what? I don't feel this way about nobody else in the room, but I feel this way about you, shouty. I feel this way about you though. I don't feel this way about nobody else but you. You feel me? So like I said, I'm just gonna be tripping. Y'all just tripping. If you tripping, y'all trip. It's best to stay paranoid. It's good to stay paranoid. My brothers and my sisters, it's good to stay paranoid. Be paranoid.
It was unnerving, sure, but
don't be like, oh, you're tripping. Nah, be paranoid. You ain't tripping, bro.
Figured it was nothing to worry about.
See, look at him.
Despite the eeriness of it all, I noted that the scene would definitely make a cool photo. A shadow against the golden backdrop of the evening sky and fields of corn that stretched on forever.
He's trying to take a photo.
A few more days passed, and the figure kept appearing. Always around the same time, always around the same spot, just standing there.
Heck nah.
One night, I watched it extra closely just to make sure it really wasn't a scarecrow. Eventually, I did notice it move, which confirmed that it was a person. It was strange, but I kept telling myself it was harmless.
Do it see you?
I even thought it might be the neighbor.
Like I said, I keep telling myself it was harmless. I even might thought it was the neighbor. You see what I'm saying? He trying to make himself seem like it ain't weird, but he know it's weird for real.
Strange, but I kept telling myself it was harmless.
Look at him.
I even thought it might be the neighbor, the old woman my mother often mentioned.
Old woman.
I hadn't seen her since I'd been back, but maybe she had a reason for being out near our property. Either way, there was only so much harm an elderly woman could really cause. It's not like she posed a threat to my parents or their property. Of course, if that were true, I probably wouldn't be writing this all down. In hindsight, it probably wasn't wise to be so nonchalant about the situation. Things started to change over the next few days. The figure began getting closer. Each night, I'd see it between two different rows of corn, always closer to the house. It was still silent and still unmoving, but it was definitely closer each night. I was sure of that. I still couldn't make out any details about them from that distance.
See, this one we get worried right here, because nigga, you was just all the way down there. Now you coming up now. See, this one we gotta bring out the clocks and guys. This one we gotta shoot. This one we gotta kill. You feel me? Let it come to you. Don't go to it. Look at this, y'all. The guy's coming closer and closer and closer. You feel me? Oh my God. This is very demonic.
I was sure of that. I still couldn't make out any details about them from that distance, but things were getting serious now. Whoever was out there was deliberately getting closer and closer to my parents' property.
They see you, bro.
After 2 nights of this, I decided I had to do something.
What you gonna do?
The next morning, I told my parents about what I had been noticing the past few weeks. My mom brushed it off and told me that it was most likely the neighbor's son.
Here we go.
Who had always been a bit of an oddball.
Whoa, son? I would have told, I never heard about no son. All you ever told me was about the old lady. Son? Why you didn't tell me this before? You brushing it off. This ain't funny to me. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. You in the room sleeping, fa la 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 la. You're in the room sleeping very heavily, but the whole time I'm here seeing demonic stuff. I'm here seeing this little scarecrow, whatever this is, getting closer to me. You brushing it off because you're not dealing with this. I am. So it's not a big problem to you. But I promise you, man, if you don't want to talk to that freaking lady next door, I'm out of here. You would never see me again. If you want a relationship with me, you better go talk to that old lady and tell her, talk to her son, nigga. Oh, that's how I'm gonna tell. You want a relationship with me, huh? You want to see me? You want me to come over here? You want me to go look after your corn, nigga? If you want me to go look at your corn, you better go talk to that old lady, tell her whole son, her son to get the hell away from me, nigga. Or I will be out the next day. You make the choice.
According to her.
That's what I'm saying.
To call him an oddball was a bit of an understatement, but my mom was always one to put things nicely.
Yeah, man.
To my surprise, they didn't seem concerned or
I don't care if it's mama, I don't care who it is. Mama fix a problem. Mama, you ain't gonna never see me again, mama.
Weirded out. They told me that I should just let him be, as he's harmless. One evening, as I was working late in the barn, I glanced toward the edge of the field and felt my stomach drop. The figure was no longer at the far edge of the cornfield. It was standing just outside the property line, much closer than before. A cold chill ran through me. I wiped my hands on my jeans, and feeling a mix of unease and frustration, I decided to approach it. I needed a better look. I walked to the edge of the field and yelled, "Who's there?" But as soon as I got close, the figure turned and sprinted between a row of corn. I went to chase it, but as I was turning the corner, I literally saw him dive into a row of corn, disappearing from sight. My heart was pounding as I stood there scanning the field, but there was no way I'd be able to find him. It's not like I was going to start searching blindly through the corn stalks. I was really freaked out at that point. Even if that had been a troubled kid, I don't think I was comfortable with him on the property. The next morning, I headed over to the neighbor's farm, hoping to clear things up. The old woman answered the door, so I just asked her bluntly without sugarcoating things. She seemed really confused when I told her about what was happening. She shook her head slowly and told me she hadn't been outside after dark for weeks because of her health. She told me that she could barely get around, let alone walk to the edge of her land. I then asked her about her son.
Like, don't play with me, old lady! Don't play with me! You know what I mean? Tell me the truth! Is this your odd son running through the cornfields playing around with me? You know what I'm saying? Dana grabbed that old lady. Do not play with me!
She told me that he left home years ago and hadn't lived with her since. I froze as she told me that. I could feel my skin start to itch. Whoever I had chased the day before wasn't her son. It was a complete stranger. I left her farm with a growing sense of dread. Whoever or whatever was lurking near the cornfield wasn't from her place.
It's a whole stranger.
I immediately told my parents about what she told me, and they grew concerned. My mom suggested calling the police, but my dad insisted that would—
Bro, calling the police, man, I get tired of it. What you gonna call the police? Man, that nigga is gone. You're not gonna find that man, bro. That's what you expect y'all to do. You expect y'all to call the police. All you gonna do is hide in the woods. He gonna be watching y'all the whole time. Look at them, look. Look at them niggas calling them police. I'm finna come terrorize them again right after they leave again. Whole time, that man looking right at y'all. Looking at the police just searching the property. Whole time, nigga looking right at y'all just like this. Look at these jackasses. Thinking calling the police on me is going to work. I'm finna terrorize them later after they leave. Then they're gonna call them again and I'm finna run back in here. And then I'm gonna terrorize them again. You feel me? Whole time, this man looking at y'all the whole time. You wasted your time calling 12,
It'd be a waste of time, since they hadn't actually done anything illegal. My dad instructed me to stay awake and wake him up should that person come back, which I agreed to. For the next few days, nothing happened. Like, the figure wasn't there anymore, which was a relief. Maybe they had noticed me confronting my neighbor, or maybe they had simply decided not to return after being chased. Either way, I was relieved. Later that week, I was out in the barn finishing up some chores when everything went dark. When I say dark, I mean it. The entire farm was suddenly plunged into darkness, and the power cut out without warning. All the lights inside and outside the house flickered off. I never carried my phone on me in the barn, so I was truly blind. My heart started racing. I had a feeling I knew what had caused the outage. I fumbled in the dark for the flashlight I knew was nearby somewhere. After finding it, I sprinted out of the barn and toward the house before stopping in my tracks. I wanted to run inside, but knew that would be the cowardly thing to do. I was about to run around the house.
That nigga said, I wanted to run inside, but I knew that was a cowardly thing to do. Nigga, get your ass inside, boy, for you die. Nigga, get yourself inside. What you trying to be, Captain? Save a hero or something, man? But go inside. Especially if you ain't got no Glock and no K, boy, you better go inside, nigga.
Run inside, but knew that would be the cowardly thing to do. I was about to run around the house to check the breaker mains.
This guy!
I heard it. There was a faint rustling sound coming from the cornfield. The realization hit me. That person was on my property, within mere feet of me.
Shoot him.
I turned and swept the beam of flashlight across the field, trying to be as quiet as possible. For a moment, nothing happened, just the same rustling sounds. But then, out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of movement. I jumped and shakily pointed my light toward the source. There, just a few feet away from the barn, was a man.
Got him.
I could see that now. It was a man with a few patches of hair on an otherwise bald head. He was wearing overalls and staring directly at me with this menacing look. I glanced down at his hands. He was holding a rusty garden trowel. Fear took over me and I ran. To my horror, I heard him begin to chase after me. I sprinted into the cornfield, hoping to lose him in there. I turned to see him in full pursuit, running as fast as he could. I turned a corner, and before he could see, I full-on dove into a row of corn. I sat there with my heart racing, trying to cover the sound of my breathing. few seconds passed before I saw that guy run past me. It was the most terrifying moment of my life. I wanted to make a dash for my phone and call the police, but I was too afraid. I sat there silently for a few minutes, contemplating the situation and my life. Eventually, I got out of my hiding spot and ran all the way back to the house, which was still cast in pitch black darkness. I called the police and woke my parents up. The police searched the property and found nothing. They did, however, find the source of the outage. Someone had dumped a bucket of water on our breaker main, which tripped the whole thing. The next day, I helped my parents install some added security measures, and even went as far as to tell the neighbor to be careful. I was only on the farm for another month, but nothing happened in that time frame. It killed me to leave my parents alone on the farm with some psycho lurking about, but I had to move on with my life. They hired a farmhand to deal with the chores, so I wasn't really needed anymore. This was by far the most bizarre and unsettling experience I've ever been through. It's something I still think about a lot.
Crazy, bro. Crazy. I see how crazy this world is the whole time, bro. Just trying to help his family with the farm, you know what I'm saying? Then you got a whole crazy nigga, you know what I'm saying? So I would never be going to cornfields in my life. Crazy, bro.
I recently moved to Iowa to get away from things. I got some dead-end job that pays a decent buck. It's not so bad.
That boy moved to
I'm definitely
Iowa.
not going to stay out here forever, but the peace and quiet is good for me. There's a lot of farmland around here.
I mean, I think I'm going to stay in Georgia. I'm thinking about moving out of the United States, honestly. I ain't going to lie. In the next 6 years, I ain't going to cap. Y'all I'm thinking about moving out of the United States, but it's a whole long story. But before I move out the country, I think I'll probably stay in Georgia forever. I ain't gonna lie. Of course, I'm gonna travel to other different places. I'm gonna travel like crazy. I ain't gonna lie, but I think like my like where I'm gonna reside at, bro, it's gonna be Georgia.
Which I'm sure doesn't surprise any of you. The rural environment is definitely not something I'm used to, coming from the city and all, but I'm slowly adjusting to it.
City
About
boy!
6 months ago,
City
I
boy?
found a modest home with dirt cheap rent that I lived in for a few months. While the house itself was small, the property was actually pretty big.
Nice crib.
I had a lot of land in the backyard, more than I knew what to do with. I'm not sure if it was a farm or abandoned, but there was this massive cornfield that sat right next to my house. Like the field ended at a little wooden fence that sat a few feet from the physical structure. You could practically touch the outside of the house and the fence at the same time. That's how close they were. As you could probably guess, I didn't have any neighbors. Despite what you might think, I found the isolation really peaceful. Sometimes in the evening, I found myself staring into that field from the window, reflecting about my life as the stalks billowed gently in the wind.
Ain't gonna lie, I used to be like high on not having neighbors, bro, but you know, I kind of like neighbors. I ain't gonna lie, like, it's like, bro, you just being out there like by yourself, bro, it's like anything can happen. You have anybody out here trying to rob, you got anybody in the woods, you just never know, you feel me? So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? I just rather have neighbors. I used to be on some like, I don't want to have no neighbors, you know, I want to be isolated like this, but I don't know. Having neighbors really saved you from a whole lot. Cause, you know, especially like niggas gonna really be hesitant to rob you, you know what I'm saying? If you got neighbors. I mean, nah, not for real. Niggas still robbing with neighbors, but you know, neighbors just, you know, have a low risk of getting robbed. You having a neighbor, you have a low risk of getting robbed. Cause, you know, people be like, oh, eyes always on me, you know what I'm saying? Wondering if he looking, you know what I'm saying? So you just being out by yourself like this, I feel like you just a target. Cause you out there by yourself.
I probably would have stayed in the house for
you don't know who out here. You don't know who out here, y'all. That's that. You don't know what animals out. You don't know what's in these woods, gang. You just out here by yourself.
Period of time had it not been for what I'm about to tell you. It was a windy October night, one of those cold nights that makes you want to sit in the comfort of a warm bedroom and look out the window at the wind blowing things around. I actually like being
feels like that right now.
Outside when the weather's like this. I know I'm a little odd in that regard. There's just something about shoving my hands in my jacket pockets when it's cold that makes me feel good. I was smoking a cigarette on the house's back deck, surveying the yard one more time before going back inside. I was almost finished when I heard it. A scream.
See?
It wasn't the kind of
see what I'm saying? See, this nigga it's probably a cult. that's going on in the woods. You feel me? This man heard the scream, y'all, the scream. No telling who be in the woods.
I heard it. A scream. It wasn't the kind of distant animal cry you hear sometimes out in the country.
Like a human
No,
scream.
this was different. It was sharp, high-pitched, and unmistakably human. It sounded like it could have been a child, maybe a young boy. The sound echoed from the cornfield just beyond the house. Without thinking, I ran inside, grabbed my hunting rifle, and went back out. I'm not sure what came over me, but there was no way I was going to ignore a child that was potentially in danger.
Nigga, forget that child.
As I was running toward the cornfield, the scream came again, louder this time. I stopped in my tracks, scanning the dark, but I couldn't see anyone. I called out to the kid, asking him to scream again so I could find him.
Yeah.
Silence. Adrenaline was surging through me at that point. I jumped the fence, picked a random row of corn, and ran alongside it.
Bro, what are you doing, bro? Trying to be Captain Savior, bro? Stay in the house, bro. What are you doing? Trying to go and find where the screen coming from, bro. You can't save everybody, bro. Whatever's going on with that kid, bro, that's what's going on with that guy. I can't save everybody. I don't know if this kid probably trying to scream to lure me in. You don't know if them folks watching. You never know, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't save everybody, cuz. You feel me? So the whole time that I hear the scream, I'm going back in the crib. You feel me? Can't save everybody. I don't try to save everybody, bro. It's just like people gonna get hurt. People gonna get killed, bro. Bad things gonna happen to people. That's life, bro. Can't save everybody, cuz. You gotta put yourself first in a lot of situations.
I jumped the fence.
You going doing all this jumping fences, going to the cornfield, man, bro.
Picked a random row of corn and ran alongside it, using my phone's shitty flashlight to see. I kept yelling out, but that kid never yelled back. Eventually, I realized I was in over my head.
You're trapped.
I called the police and explained to them what I had heard before returning to my house, waiting for them to arrive. When the officers arrived, I insisted on helping them search the field. They let me help, which I was grateful for. We searched for at least half an hour, calling out to that kid the whole time. He never yelled back, though. There was nothing out there, no footprints, no signs of movement, not a single trace that anyone had been in that field. Eventually, we gave up. The officers told me to call again if I heard anything and left. I was frustrated, but what could I do? Part of me wondered if the whole thing had been a prank, which sort of made sense. I'm sure the kids out there struggled to occupy the hours. It just made me sick to think that someone would prank another person like that. As much as I tried to convince myself that it had all been a prank, I couldn't relax after that. Little did I know that the situation was about to go from a 1 to a 10. As I was upstairs getting ready for bed, something from outside the window caught my eye. It was the last thing anyone would ever want to see outside a bedroom window, a faint orange glow. I rushed to the window and I felt my stomach drop. Off in the distance, there were small flames rising from the cornfield, flickering wildly in the dark. I remember yelling "holy fuck" over and over. I knew I had to do something.
Bro, stop trying to, bro. Yeah, I'm not finna go out nowhere. It's obviously somebody trying to lure me in. You know what I'm saying? Somebody trying to lure me in. It's obviously somebody trying to lure me in. Somebody playing games, bro.
Yelling "holy fuck" over
Somebody
and
playing
over.
games, bro.
I knew I had to do something. The fire wasn't huge, but I knew it would spread fast with how windy it was out there. I sprinted down the stairs while calling 911, practically screaming into the phone. I grabbed the hose from the side of my house, turned it on, jumped the fence, and sprinted into the field. I prayed that it would be long enough to reach the fire. I was soaked by the time I reached the fire, but I didn't care.
Put the fire in there.
I knew the fire department would take forever to get there. I was the only hope. I sprayed the flames as best I could, doing everything I could to contain it. I was unbelievably lucky that it hadn't spread more quickly. I was able to put it out completely in just a few minutes. I leaned down to catch my breath, wondering why in the world this shit was happening to me. As I stood there, drenched in sweat and water, I caught movement from the corner of my eye. I turned and nearly died right on the spot. There was someone at the upstairs window of my house. They were in my...
This nigga in your house. Oh my God.
There was someone at the upstairs window of my house. They were in my bedroom. Without thinking, I dropped the hose that was still spraying water and sprinted toward the house. I threw open the door and burst into the kitchen, only to freeze in place. The entire room was trashed. My fridge and cabinets were all open, and a bunch of my dishes had been smashed on the floor.
Dang.
It was fucking crazy, and I didn't know what to think. I barely had time to process the chaos when I heard the front door slam.
Chase that nigga.
I spun around and ran to the front door.
You gotta get that nigga.
But by the time I got there, whoever had been inside was gone. I rushed outside again, but they were nowhere in sight. I didn't have the energy to chase them. I actually thought I was going to pass out from how chaotic the sequence of events had been. A few minutes later, the police and firefighters finally showed up. I told them what had happened, and they took things much more seriously this time around. Attempted arson is a serious felony, and they treated it like such. A bunch more police officers and even some police dogs were brought out to conduct a more thorough search. But once again, they didn't find anything. Clearly, they had enough time to escape on foot. For a few weeks, I couldn't sleep. Every creak, every rustle in the night set me on edge. I slept with my hunting rifle on the floor next to me every night until I was able to move out. I kept thinking about what had happened. It didn't make any sense, but what gets me the most is that first scream. It makes me sick to think that there might have actually been a child in danger, not even 100 yards from me.
Crazy, y'all, man. But I hope y'all enjoyed that scary video that I gave to y'all. You know what I mean? Like I told y'all, I was gonna get off. You know what I mean? But I was like, I might as well just give y'all a video. You know what I'm saying? For real. But make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn the bell, like the video. If y'all want to go see all my other scary reactions, y'all can, man. It's in the playlist section over yonder, man. Your boy Jay out. I'm finna go to bed.